What impact could an employment-related settlement agreement have on the value of my shares? I'm Richard Hiron, also known as the Hironator, and I'm an employment law solicitor. You may remember that last week we discussed the process for either transferring or keeping your shares in your employer's business. This week we're going to be discussing the situation of the impact of the settlement agreement on the value of those shares. So in a shareholders agreement and possibly articles of association of a company, there might be certain provisions in there about the value of shares if somebody leaves the business. So these are usually known as good leaver and bad leaver provisions. A bad leaver provision might apply if somebody decides to resign from their employment, so the value of their shares might be greatly reduced or might be reduced down to nothing. The alternative, for example, is that they are dismissed. They could be dismissed for redundancy. And it might well be that the shareholders agreement or the articles of association say that if that person is made redundant, then they don't have any impact on the value of their shares. They basically get the value of their shares if they decide to sell them. There are lots of reasons for dismissal. And the key thing is that when you have shares, you need to check the shareholders agreement or the articles of association to see if they contain good leaver and bad leaver provisions to make sure that you're not losing out on the value of your shares. If the position is that you might be losing out, then maybe something should be written into the settlement agreement to make sure that you're not losing out on the value of those shares. I hope that's explained a bit more about shares in general and the impact that settlement agreements can have on them. We're going to move on to new topics, but in the meantime, if you're finding a settlement agreement hard, bring it to Richard.